Him up, man. You know?
Yeah, bet. What
Yeah.
up? Welcome to another episode of the D Will Show. I am your host, D Will, and this is episode 128. Um, be sure to follow me on Instagram at D Willow at DWILLOOO. Go follow me to keep up with all the upcoming episodes. This summer with 88 West basketball. Just follow me to keep up with everything I got coming up this summer. Be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, the D Will Show. Go like, comment, subscribe, share, whatever you got to do. Go show some love. I got a crazy lineup coming for you guys, so make sure to go subscribe to the YouTube channel. Also, to go follow us on wherever you get your podcast, Spotify, Apple, Google. Go like, go follow, go 5-star from me. I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, 27 Horizon. Connecting your business to new horizons. Contact 27 Horizon for all of your creative design needs and book them today to make your event one to remember with any DJ and photo services. DM 27 Horizon for more info. Now that we got that out the way, I got my big brother tapping in with me. We finally locked in. We have been talking for about a year. We finally got it locked in. But tonight I got a good one for y'all, man. I got my East Side brother, Tomcat. I got a Tomcat legend, hoop legend, former Oakland College star, a former North Park University star, and definitely one of the best shooters from the town, Shaun Collins. Shaun, what up, big bro?
What's going on, D. Will? Thanks for having
Man,
me. Really excited for this, man.
no, for sure, bro. It's like I said, we have been locked in for a minute, but we finally made it happen. You know what I mean? So
For
I
sure.
appreciate you.
Appreciate you, bro.
For sure. Man, like we told you in the beginning, big bro. You kind of in the hot seat, man. After the last episode, it's been a lot of talk around the town, man. I gotta do it to you, bro. I gotta do it. I'm gonna switch it up on you. I'm gonna switch it up on you. I need your top five from the city right now. Your
Wait,
top five, yeah,
current current players?
from the town. I need your top five right now that you hoop with and from the town. Let me talk to me. I'm sorry, bro. I had to do it to you, man.
Five that I hooped with on my team or played against too.
Uh, Let me see.
No. I'll keep it easy. I'm gonna
Okay,
keep it
okay.
easy.
Bet.
I can give you a West team too, but all right. I'm gonna go with my boy Justin at point guard. Um, I
Justin T. Yeah.
include myself. I won't include myself. I'll be the sixth man. I'll be the sixth man. Give me Tyrone Evans at the two. Dang, Boat. I gotta get Boat in there too. I didn't play with Boat. Never mind. Give me Justin. Give me Tyrone. Oh man, actually, let me slide them up a little bit. Let me get Isaiah in there. Isaiah Anderson. Give me
Okay.
Justin. Give me Tyrone. What else I play with, man? Man, give me my boy Roderick Finley. My boy Rod. And I think for the fifth, I'm either gonna go Tremel Weathersby or I'm gonna go with Marshall, who I played with for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now give me that's five you play with, right?
That's the five I played with. Yep.
Okay. Now just give me a any five. Rather you hoop with them, hooped against them from the
The five
town.
that I've witnessed with my own eyes. I ain't gonna go back to the Savage, Coach Wide. I know they were great, but I
But
ain't
you
seen
didn't. Yeah. Okay.
me Boat for sure. Give me the show at the one. Give me give me Dre Newsom. Give me Dre. I don't know where I'm gonna put him at. He's real versatile, so he can play 1 through 5. Shout out to my big bro Andre. Um, ooh wee. Ooh. Hmm. From the town. Oh, give me Ricky. Give me Ricky Dominguez and give me definitely Derek Hollyfield. That's
Okay.
4.
Yep. One more. Who you locking in with? It's tough, man.
Fuck that. Put my brother on there, man. Jason Collins, man, my brother.
Respect. Got to throw bro in there.
My
Got to
brother.
throw bro in there. Let me
For
see.
sure.
Somebody said Terry Jeffries was cold too. Yeah, I heard a lot about Terry
He was
for
for sure.
sure. For sure. To take a dive in, big bro, I kind of want to take it to the beginning. For you, you know what I mean? Just kind of talk about your upbringing. Um, where you from and how you kind of got involved with hooping.
Um, I guess just growing up, watching my brother, watching my sister play, and I just was like the kid that was always out there shooting at halftime of their games that everybody was looking at. Kind of like how you see now, like if someone there's a little kid in the gym, you see him shooting at halftime. The crowd starts cheering for them and things like that. That was me growing up for sure. Going to my brother's games at Aurora Christian, seeing my sister play. That's really how I remember it starting. Just watching my brother for the most part. Like we grew up over on the west. We grew up on the west side, so May Street Park was like in our backyard.
Okay.
Gillette and Illinois Ave. So my brother used to be out there playing a lot. Um, and so I would say that's really where it started. Just watching my brother play, being around him, around his
Oh,
friends. Grew up with Andre and a lot of people playing there, playing at the parks. Just me watching them, wanting to just wishing for the day when I be out there playing with them. They let me play a little bit, but let me
yeah.
make shots. Then as soon as I get too many points, yeah, all right, bro,
All
you
right,
ain't
watch
shit.
out. Yeah.
Hey,
Who was the one that really put the ball in your hand though, bro? Like who was the one? Did you kind of pick it up on your own, or did you kind of
uh,
have?
kind of, kind of on my own, just watching what was in front of me. My brother was there. I mean, my dad was there, out there shooting with us, playing with us too. So I'll say my dad or my brother. Yeah,
Okay. Did you play any other sports though coming up? As a
yeah.
kid, we played everything. Like, did you have a chance to play something different if
I was
that came about?
big on baseball. I played baseball all the way from little league through high school. So baseball was a big sport for me. It was something that I was good at. So I just kept playing it. Basketball has always been my love, but baseball was definitely something that I fell in love with too. Playing that, met a lot of people. Like growing up, Aurora Little League was a big deal. Like it was a lot of good players in that league. Um, so growing up, played baseball, played basketball, played 1 year of football. Mom's wasn't
Well,
having
rock
it.
with it.
Let me play 1 year, and I ended up getting hurt. And that was a wrap for that.
Yeah. But what led to the choice though of really picking? Okay, hooping is what I want to do. Like, did you have a particular moment when you was like, all right, man, I'm gonna lock in with hooping and go from there?
Um, Probably just seeing like my brother was like one of my like a hero to me when I was growing up. I wanted to do everything he was doing because there's such a big age gap. So I really saw him like when he was already good. So when I was watching him play, it was kind of like I'm like, yeah, this looks like fun. Like I'm going to watch his games all the time. It just seemed like what I was gonna do. So I guess I just went from there, watching him play. It became a love of mine, and just watching how much fun they had. It seemed like it was fun. They were watching games, him and his friends watching the Bulls growing up. So it just seemed like the right thing. Yeah, I loved it, like watching it. So I just started playing it. It was fun. I was good at it.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, and it was a good way to
Well,
just get out and play for sure.
for sure. What was that moment for you? Did you have a moment when you was like, all right, like I'm really nice with it. I'm gonna keep going with it.
Um, I guess playing. I mean, when I grew up, I was playing. I went to a Catholic school growing up, so K through 8. I
Okay.
was at St. Joe's, so um, we used to win like the Catholic League tournament every year, like start sixth, seventh, and eighth grade. I really got a lot of confidence playing in that. Um, Even though I knew like I wasn't, so I'll say the moment was probably playing for St. Joe's, playing at a Catholic school. But we got that City of Lights tournament where
Yeah.
we play everybody, and we used
Yeah.
to play Coward. We played Coward and we played Simmons, and I was out there and I was still doing my thing. So I was like, all right, I can do it against them too. So I think I'm good, like, for sure. Because I'm out there killing in Catholic League, but they ain't have nothing like what Simmons and Waldo and Cowher had. Cowher had a brick back then, so
Yeah, who was on that team? You remember who was on that team?
I gave them a good 20 something. So they knew who I was when they saw me at East. They had Shaun Parker, they had Marlon Dickerson, they had Roderick Finley, Victor Owens, uh, Lil Monty. They had Big Sam Avila. I don't know if anyone remembers him. Big dude. He moved out the district though. Who else was there? They had like six or so. Oh, they had Derek. They had Derek Smith. Um, they were loaded, man. They had like 7, 8 hoopers on their team. Where like most teams got like three players good at the most.
Three.
They had whole five with 3 or 4 players coming off the bench. I'm like, man, this is crazy, bro.
Yeah. So you knew, like, I'm doing it against them. I'm gonna be all right then.
Yeah, for sure. I would say going in them City of Light tournaments and then playing at like the little tournaments at Prisco when we were growing up.
Okay.
Uh, I remember Justin from that. He used to play on Team Unity. Like I remember playing against them before. Like I didn't really know them because I was going to a Catholic school. They were all in the public school, but once we all got to play on the team in like 8th grade. It was like an
Okay.
Aurora Heat team that we started. I don't know who really started. I think it might have been Ricky Robinson that started it, but it had all the public league kids, and then they had me on there. So it was like all the Cowherd, all the Waldo, all the Simmons, and then they threw me on there. So that's really when I knew. I was like, oh yeah, they want me to be on this team. Well,
Yeah.
I must be doing something. Right?
Facts. Facts. Okay. For you, when you really got locked in on hooping, you know what I mean? I know you had your big brother hooping. Who was like some of the people that you kind of was watching and trying to pattern your game after?
My one of my favorite players was T Mac growing up. Tracy McGrady had all the shoes. I was getting all the. That's the only time I was rocking Adidas though, with Nike for the most part. But Team Sure, Ray Allen was big. Reggie Miller, shooters. Um, I would say, but definitely T Mac was my guy. Scottie Pippen was one of my favorite players for sure growing up.
For sure. What did you try to take from each person you just named? Like, what did you look at that you wanted to take from their game
From,
to add to yours?
from Tracy McGrady, I definitely took one thing in particular. I took his hezzy into his shot, into his pull up, like his hang dribble into his three. I took that from him. Well, actually, from Tyrone. Tyrone put me on that. On that with Tyrone, his sophomore year, he kind of gave that to me. Um, Scotty was just my favorite player. Like he just did everything. Um, yeah, really just watching the Bulls, fell in love with them. Like Scotty was my favorite player because he did everything. I like Jordan, but that was everybody's favorite. My brother liked Scotty, so I was like, I'm rocking with Scotty too.
Yeah, yeah. Facts. Facts.
Definitely
Okay.
pull up. That pull up was deadly, man, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. For you, you said you went to Catholic school. What led to the choice of going to Eastern Road?
Um, so that was actually something that I just was talking to my dad about recently, and there was more to it than what I knew. Um, I guess it was either East or go to a Royal Christian where my brother went. Um, I guess Aurora Central was in there too because I went to St. Joe's and like all the kids from St. Joe's usually go to either a Central or a Marmion.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, I think it was, you know, my dad said it was something that happened along the lines with like Aurora Christian, something that went down that wasn't the best. I ain't gonna get into all of what happened, but
Yeah.
goes back to like some things with my brother and with the coach and some things, but some things kind of steered my parents away from going there.
Okay.
I actually wanted to go to West growing up. I mean, because at that time when I was growing up, getting close to high school, West was dominating the series. West was winning all the time. So that's like what I saw because I was at the East. I was going to East games a lot with my grandfather. My grandfather had season tickets to East games since like man before I can remember. Like he has tapes at his house. He had tapes at the house of games that he done recorded off TV and all the things. I'm seeing Coach Savage, Coach Wyatt playing on TV all that. He had all of that. So it was really, I don't know, it was really meant for me to be at East. My parents went there, but none of the kids went there until I got up there. And um, I think it was more about just wanting to prove something to people. I think my dad was part of that too. Like people that I went to St. Joe's with, parents and people, coaches over there, really didn't think that I could have a good career or do anything in a public school away from the private school where I was at. So it was kind of like we just gonna go here and prove everybody wrong type of thing. So I'm definitely happy and glad with the decision that was made for me to go to East, because I some of the best times of my best basketball years that I've had were definitely at East, man, for sure.
For sure. I know you said you wanted to go to West though. Who was on that West squad that you would have been playing with it had you had with there?
Had I went there, they had Reggie, they had Denardo, they had, well, actually, I mean, if we're talking since my sophomore year, they had TJ Marion, they had Derek Pryor, Johnny Walker, Reggie Shipp. Who else they
You
had? Like,
had a brick over there.
yeah, they had a solid team. That team we beat my sophomore year was pretty solid for sure.
Okay. Okay. I know you just said you had some of your favorite times at East. Can you take us through memory lane for you at East? Do you have a favorite game, a favorite moment? Just take us
Uh,
through take it through all that, man.
so there's a lot of them, but definitely one of my best favorite moments was the East West game my sophomore year. When I was the leading scorer of the game, had 19 points, hit some big shots, hit the go ahead shot at the end, toward the end of the game, that gave us the lead for the final time, and we made some free throws at the end of the game. But um, my sophomore year, we hadn't won for a while. I'm pretty sure we had gone a few years, like at least 3 or 4 before since we had won. Because I think the game where Darius hit the shot, that might have been the last time that we beat them until we beat them again my sophomore year in high school. But you can fact
Okay.
check that, but I think I'm right about that.
Okay.
Because we had a couple times where we were close the year before, like my 8th grade year when I was at the game. I think that's the time they had Sarah Soli. And we fouled them at the end of the we fouled at the end of the game. I mean, we ain't gonna really talk about that, right? But um, East had beat for sure, and that's the team that West had was loaded, man. They had about 6 or 7 D1 players on their team, and East had them beat. Had them beat. I don't know why we was pressing that late. I don't know why we pressed, but hey, we'll talk about that some other time. We can talk about X's and O's later, man.
For sure, for sure. What were
Definitely
some of your favorite moments?
press at that time, but hey,
Yeah, yeah, for sure. What were some of your favorite moments playing in the East West game? I know you said you hit, a big shot, and just knowing the whole history behind,
history
you
of the game.
know,
Yeah, the history
yeah,
of the game really the biggest part of it. Because like I said, like my grandfather been going to games for the longest. Me and my brother was going to the games. If my brother wasn't playing his own game, we was going to the East games. And my granddad, he was going to the game early. He was watching freshmen. He was watching he was watching every game that
locked
day.
in.
Like a
Yeah,
lot Christmas tournament, he there at noon. He watching all four. Like that's what I grew up knowing. So we going to these games, we going to watch them, and then when that game comes on at nighttime and them lights go out on the side, and that was really, I'm like, man, I need to be here, man. They turn the lights off. That's just the
yeah,
court. They got the roll call going on the side. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm trying to go here, bro.
yeah. Experience that though as a fan got you pumped up. But how was it knowing preparing for it though? Like the town coming out. Like I said, every time somebody talk about it, you going to get you a haircut, you going to get you a
Man,
fit, you get
going
your ticket a week. As soon as they announce it, get your ticket right now. If you don't get your ticket right now, you're not going. Like just talk about preparing for that moment.
to
Like man,
drive driving to the game, gotta go there early, drop the car off, maybe somebody pick you up so that you can get a close spot.
yeah,
But man, the East West game growing up, playing in it that first week, practice week, you see people. You see people in the hallway buying tickets. We in practice, and we like, man, there's people out there in the. Once they got the field house done, there's people in there selling tickets. There's people. It's full of people buying tickets, and we at practice in high school, looking at people at the window lined up to get tickets for the game. Like it's ridiculous to think about. Um, and for some people, like that's like the biggest deal that they'll ever, the biggest atmosphere that they'll ever have when they playing. Those of us that don't like go to huge D1 schools and play overseas, that's like that could be like the biggest moment of basketball career for some players. So just growing up seeing that, just the tickets in general, like you got to get the tickets first couple of days or you ain't going. Like, but I would say that's the biggest thing. It's just we're after school bell rings, we going down to the locker room. We come out the locker room to go to practice, and we see people out buying tickets for our game to come see us play. Like
Yeah,
crazy to think about. And like the East West game is, I don't know, man. That's definitely the biggest rivalry in the state for sure. But I'll put
hands
it up.
down.
I'll put it up there with a lot of different rivalries across sports and across college, whatever. The East West thing is a big deal for sure, especially when we started only playing once a year. When we
Yeah,
left, it was one game a year. You got the bragging rights for the whole for 365 days. Like,
facts,
it's a big deal for sure.
facts. How did you prepare for those games though? Because like I said, some people they be like, I don't get nervous before a game, but a game like that, like you have to feel some type of nerves, like knowing
Yeah,
like the
you
whole
ain't
town here.
you ain't nervous, you ain't right, bro. You gotta have some nerves, bro, or you ain't ready to play. If you ain't ready to play, you ain't nervous, especially for that game. Like I remember sophomore year, man, I had never been in a place with that many people. I mean, I've been to an East West game to watch, but coming out that tunnel to see it is like, bro, when the sophomore game is going on, it's not full. But when we leave
Hmm.
at halftime to go get dressed, and
Come
then you
back,
out and you see there's no empty seats, there's people standing on the side. The first time I witnessed that, man, we ran out. We ran out, did all that, started layup line. I had to go back in the locker room, bro. I was like, man, this is crazy. I had to go to the bathroom or something, bro. I was like, bro, this is crazy right now, man.
bro
I
said
was,
he had to go back to the locker room. He said he.
I was too ready but I was like amped. I was like ready. I was so ready to go. The nerves were there, but I'm like, man, like I'm just ready to go. Senior year, Coach Jay had to tell me to sit down in the locker room because I was like, he was giving his little speech, and I kept trying to get up and live. I'm like, man, I'm ready to go, man. We don't need to talk about nothing. What do we need to
Like,
talk about? East West
that's
game. We know.
who.
Let's go. Let's go hoop, man. He was like, stop, sit
Like,
down. All right, yeah, man, let's go, man. Yeah.
man, who was your toughest player you ever had to play against, bro?
Um, I would definitely say TJ for sure. Best
Okay.
defender that I played against. I knew going into the game, sophomore and junior year. Well, mainly junior year. I ain't even gonna say sophomore year because I probably wasn't even on nobody's radar my sophomore year. So, but definitely my junior year, I knew going into that game, like I know TJ gonna be matched up with me. He's long, he's lanky, he's a good defender. I knew it was gonna be tough. So I would definitely say him. And as far as like senior year, I'd say Reggie. Like we've had a lot of battles growing up, for sure, playing against each other. So being able to do it on that stage was definitely something I enjoyed and look forward to for sure.
Okay. For you, bro, did you feel like you I don't want to say accomplished, but did you feel like you had a successful high school career? I know sometimes it's all about, you want to win state or, but are you proud of your high school career that you had thus far? You know what I mean? Like to this moment.
Looking back, definitely. We accomplished a lot. My senior year, I mean, we were 2 games. We got to the sectional final. My senior year, we lost to Glenbar West. Still remember that, man. Fucking John Sherner. He had 36 points, 16 rebounds, 8 blocks for his stat
Man,
line. The whole
That's the one that
starting.
went to Northwestern, right?
Yeah, he went to Northwestern. He probably playing overseas right now.
No, he
Uh,
tough.
he was 6'8". We ain't had nobody for him. Our whole lineup was 6'2". You know how East roll. We got all the same height. We running and gunning. But that was the one game where I was just like, man, like we might not be able to do that this game. They were all 6'8". Like the shortest player in their starting five was 6'4", and he was the point guard. Like they had 6'4", 6'5", and they had two 6'8s. They had a 6'8" dude guard me. I couldn't even see the rim. Like, like man, bro, it was tough, man. I remember that game. They had a dunk. They made us. The thing about it is, like, we felt it was weird. The whole game was weird because we weren't the highest seed. Cause I think we were at like a 7 seed because we ended up we beat the 2 seed who was Batavia. We beat them on their home court my senior year in the regional final. So we were the 7 seed. I think Glenbard West was like a 3 or 4. They were higher seeded than us, and so I guess they get the pick if they want to wear home or away. We were wearing red and we were on the visitors bench at our gym, bro. I was like, man, this is what's going on? This is just off. It was just off, bro.
It felt weird. Yeah. How did that game end though? Like, how much they
We
end up
lost.
winning by?
I think we lost by like 12 or 13 points. I mean, we really weren't ever in the game. Like, I'm not even gonna sugarcoat or anything. We lost that game. We got outplayed. We didn't have a chance to win. Like we never gave ourselves a chance to win that game. We cut into the lead, but it was like the lead was so big. I think
Yeah.
we got down to like 8 or 9 at one point, but it was like we were gassed by the taking up all the energy to get back into the game, and then they just at the end hit a lot of free throws, wasted the
Hmm.
time. You know, that's just how that game went. I wish we could have that game back for sure. That's one game I wish we could like play over. Nobody really played well for us. Nobody had a good game for us. It was all bad.
They were just the better team that night. You know what I
Better
mean?
team tonight for sure, man. Watching
Okay.
them celebrate on the court, man, that was like, bro, it was the worst, man. But the thing
Okay.
about it, the year before that, um, and Coach Jay had us all. Not he didn't have us all, but he kind of put the idea out there our junior year because sectionals was always at East. He told us to come watch the game. Let's watch the game, even though no, we weren't playing and all that, but just see what the atmosphere is like, what it looks like to play in a sectional game, and hopefully we can get to this game the next year. And just watching other teams celebrate on our court. When I was there, I was just like, man, we getting to this game next year, bro. And
Yeah.
um, it all came through. We that wasn't. I feel like it wasn't even our best team that we had my 3 years there. It wasn't the most talented team. I'll say it wasn't the most talented team, but it ended up being the best team that I played on while I was there. We won 20 games, went to the sectional final. We had an 11-game win streak that year. A lot of things came together that year. And we were young. I think our leadership was the biggest thing. Me and Justin had been on varsity 3 years. We had a lot of young players that were helping us. Tremel was a freshman that year. My cousin Jamar was a shepherd. He might have been a freshman that year too. He was either a freshman or a sophomore. And they were both in the rotation. Tremel started for sure, and then Shep gave us really good minutes off the bench. But my senior year was definitely a up and down season. But we started off terrible. We were like 2-5. Definitely, yeah, we were 2-5 to start the season. Um, and then we ran off 11 straight. West was our 10th, was the 11th of that win of that streak. The show. Um,
You met them at the right time.
we met him at the right time. We was hot. Had won 10 straight. That was our only game of the week too. They had played earlier in the week, so they couldn't really focus on us the whole week. We was focusing on them. As soon as that previous week ended, we was thinking about West. So you need all your little advantages, going into games. They had 2 games that we only had one, so all we had to do was focus on them. They had to focus on a whole nother team before they played us.
Yeah. Okay. For you, what was your recruiting process like? When did colleges start to, get on your radar? When
Um,
did you started to really, kind of make your choice on what you were looking for in the school?
The recruiting process, it really wasn't a big, like, I wasn't getting looked at by them big D1s and a lot of D1 schools. I was getting, like, I got a couple mid-major looks, mostly D2 schools, some D3 schools, but some JUCOs. Um, but my junior year, I would say it started like the summer before my junior year. We used to play in this pretty big tournament out in Morris, the Morris Shootout. I played really well out there. And then, like, when we came in for the season, Indiana State was pretty big on me. I remember them coming over to the school. Came to a couple open gyms and some practices. Um, but then that coaching staff ended up getting they got fired or whatever. They weren't the coaches anymore going into my senior year, so that kind of fell through. Um, but other than that, I mean, I had a few mid-major D1s here, Southern Illinois. Got some letters from them. Indiana State. I took a visit to Kentucky State, which is I think that's a D2 school. But it was a HBC, so that was a cool experience for me going to that, visiting that school, seeing how that was. Um, but yeah, it was really like a last minute decision to go to Oakton because I mean, my ego. I had a little bit of an ego. I didn't want to stay home. I didn't want to go to Wabansie. Like, that's the one thing. And I was like, man, I'm not going to Wabansie. That's like, I didn't want to do that. I don't know what it was. I mean, most of it was me just thinking, man, I'm better than that. I'm bigger than that. I shouldn't be there. But when it got down to the end, that was definitely one of my choices. It was like Wabansie, Triton, and then I mean Oakton really wasn't even on my radar. I had really reached out to them. They went to
Hmm.
some open films, and then they said that they wanted me to go there. But I kind of have not a regret, but looking back, probably would have been good for me to be at Triton with my boy Justin. Knowing somebody there and knowing he's the point guard, he probably would have got, he knows how to he knows what shots I like, knows where to get the
Yeah.
ball, things like that, just having that familiarity. But I mean, I remember when the Triton coach came to talk to us after a game, I really wasn't really trying to hear what he was talking about because it was like, at that time, I was like, man, I'm not going to Triton. I'm about to be playing at D1 somewhere next year. Like, I really wasn't trying to hear that. So,
Yeah.
for players growing up now, like, I want to tell them, like, you really just want to be somewhere where you can make an impact on the game. Like, you can go D1, you can get all the nice gear, get all the free stuff, but it really don't matter if you ain't in the game doing nothing. Like, what are you gonna talk about? Like, you gonna show me your jumpsuit? Yeah, that's cool, but you can't go to Google and find those stats. I'm like, what really was it for? Like,
Yeah.
uh, so ended up going D2. Was starting, going, doing my thing. It was like, I would do that on any day if you gave me an opportunity to pick a D1, or maybe I might not play, or if I can go to a smaller school and knowing I can have an impact on the game, not just playing, getting some minutes, but making an impact, having an impact on the game. Um, and so that's the road I decided to go to. I mean, financially, it's definitely a great idea. Not paying 4 years of a big school, having that tuition, 4 years,
Man.
starting off at a 2 year, figuring out what it is, what the game is like. The game speed definitely gets faster, and also academically, it was a good way to just ease on into college. So, um,
Did you have to adapt though? Did it take you a minute to adapt to all that, or was it just like, no, I'm cool. Once I got there, I locked in.
um, it definitely took some time to adapt to, like, having to not having somebody and your parents at the house, like, waking you up for class.
Yeah.
Like, so when I was at Oakton. We had an apartment. I had two roommates. Um, yeah, it was really like up to me. That's really where I started to grow up. Like, you got to make your own choices. You don't have to go to class. You don't have to go. No one's forcing you, but
You better
if you don't,
go. Yeah.
gonna be some consequences for that. So, just really having to grow up, making my own choices, being my own person. Um, and I really think I wouldn't have been able to do that if I was still, because if I was going to a Bonds, I probably would still have been staying at home.
Yeah.
Um, and still been a little bit dependent on other people. So, um, I don't have any regrets with what the choices that I made. It led me to where I'm at now. I'm happy with. where I'm at with my life, my wife, my kids. We
Yeah,
all good.
for sure. Just talk about now I think JUCO is looked at like the lowest of the low. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Knowing JUCO is an option for almost anybody. Can you just talk about JUCO is still good basketball? You can go the JUCO route and you can still get to where you want to get to. Can you just touch on that? Because I think a lot of
yeah.
kids really look at JUCO as like, man, I ain't trying to do that. Like Triton, there's nothing wrong with Triton. There's nothing
hmm
wrong with Wabanzi because hoopers gonna hoop. You know what I mean? Whether they situation forced them there or they just had to, like it's hoopers everywhere. You know what I mean? They all trying to get to where you trying to get to too.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, I hear that. I hear that talk still. When I was back home coaching players, that's something that I would hear, and it's like, it's basketball. Like if you go out there and you assert yourself and you're dominant, if you're dominant wherever you're at, they're gonna find
Mm-hmm.
you. Like there's really no bad part about it. You're in a 2 year school. You can leave after one if you want to. If you qualify, if you got the grades, if you're taking care of what you need to take care of, you can leave after 1 year if you want to. Or you can just go there, learn the ropes, learn what's going on, work on your body. You can redshirt, not play. You can still have 4 years when you leave. It's
Yep.
really about just making the best of your situation or what you got going on. It's not the same for everybody. Everybody has different circumstances. Everybody has different different things that they want to do, what they want to get. You just use it for
Yeah.
what it. They play good basketball at JUCO. They got tournaments too. They got national tournaments for JUCO too. It's the same. I mean, it's not the same thing, but at the end of the day, it is. All it is a J in there. It's NJCAA. Like it's
Yeah.
NCAA junior college. They got a tournament just like NCAA does. You play basketball just like they do, and there are
Yeah.
some real killers in junior college. Like that might not have had the grades. They might not have figured something out. Like there are killers in junior college, and I ran up against a lot of them. So.
For
Uh,
sure.
it's good basketball, man. It's a good step. It's a step up from high school. It's not like you playing an extended version of high school basketball. It's definitely college. The game is
Yeah.
faster. It it's a good way to start if you're kind of on the edge. If you're not gonna go somewhere and make an impact right away, I would. I mean, I'm not gonna say I suggest, but a good route for you might be to go to a JUCO. You go to a JUCO where you can play a lot, get that game.
Mm-hmm.
There's no substitution for game experience. You can't say, "Oh, I've been on the bench going to practice in a D1 school. I'm getting better." No, you're not. You're not in the fucking game. Like practice, not the game. So you
Yeah.
know, your best way of learning is playing in games. So if you can go somewhere and play in games before you go somewhere else, I mean that's a good route to go. That's where you can see where you're at.
Yeah. And get that film, man. Film is important. Getting your
For sure.
film, getting your prep, all that, man. Because you never know. Like you said, you can be at D1, but you're not playing. Like ain't no coach is gonna want you because they don't know what you can do. They don't know what you can bring to their team. You know what I mean? So go with the best
Go
fit.
out of the JUCO, they'll see you. It don't matter
Yeah,
where you at. You could be in Alaska. You can be in wherever. If you
yeah,
putting up 20 a game, they will find you.
for sure. Especially with social media now too, bro. Social media is like crazy, bro. Like you can find anybody anywhere. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you can go make you a little highlight tape on your phone, and you
Exactly.
good.
Coaches talk like
Yeah.
coaches have friends just like we got friends. They send texts to other people like, I don't think I can get him here, but I think he'd be a fit for you. Like that's how the
Mm-hmm.
basketball network works. You never know who's watching. The coach that where you go to school might not even have been at your game. They might have heard from somebody else that you're good, and they like, oh, we want to see you. We want to see more of you. That
Yeah,
might be how it starts. It might not even be somebody that's at the actual game that day.
for
So
sure.
all those things take care of like body language, things like that, man. You never know who's at the game. That could be the one time a coach is there and you miss a shot or you yelling at your teammates, you not being a good teammate.
Mm-hmm. Blew
Over
it.
with.
Yeah. For you, how was the transition from going to Oakton to going to North Park? You know what I mean? You know, obviously different styles to play, different coaches.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Different area. How did you adjust? How did North Park come into play, and how did you adapt to that transition? Going to a new school.
I mean, no, North Park really were really loyal to me. They were really like recruiting me out of high school. I just, you know, growing up, it was just like I don't want to go there for 4 years. Like that tuition crazy over there. Like
Yeah.
my brother was. So I knew a lot about North Park. I knew the area. I knew where it was at. I knew what conference they played in. They played in a really good conference. Like the CCIW is a tip top conference for D3 basketball in the nation. Like they always send at least two, maybe three teams to the tournament every year. So we got like Augustana, who's always good. We got
Hmm.
then we got North Central, who ended up being really good while after I was there. Um, who else did we? Carthage was really good out in Wisconsin. Probably one of the best players I ever played against. Went to Carthage and he played overseas for a while. Like he was, man, probably the best player I ever played against, and he was at a D3 college. Um, and he was, bro, he was legit. Like, all right, man, like
Killer.
Steve Steve Jerichovic. I know the name, bro. Like I know
He said, "I know the name, man."
I was all over that scouting report. And I'm like, I'm man, I'm because you might not know this, but you know, when I left high school, you know, I did become a defensive player, man. I wasn't playing too much in high school, but I will admit that. But you know, going to college, that's the biggest adjustment. That was one of my biggest adjustments. You can't just be out here shooting threes, not playing no defense, man. If you want to stay on the floor, you got to play defense. You got to play
Yeah.
team basketball, team game. So, um,
Did you have a
that's
moment where you had to realize that, or was it just like you just
um. I think it was more of just finding ways to stay on the court. Like
got you? Okay.
growing up, just being an older player, a student of the game. Like I really wasn't that when I was in high school. I just basically relied on talent. Like I know I can shoot. I know the things that I can do. I really wasn't putting in that. I wasn't putting in them extra hours that now when I'm training and I'm coaching, the hours that I'm telling my players to put in. Like I wasn't doing that. And so I'm a perfect example of if you just think you're good and you ain't putting in that work, you're not gonna get to where you want to go or where you see yourself playing at. You got to put the work in. That's the biggest thing.
For you, did you have any? Did you run into any brick walls? In your way of playing ball? Like, did you have? Some people say they had an injury. Some people say they had, oh, I wasn't playing, or had like DMPs, or this or that. Like, did you have any moments that you had to overcome something in your career?
Um, the biggest thing I would probably say was when I got to North Park. Um, it wasn't my decision, but it was like I had to make a decision, and I had to start. I started coming off the bench. I was the sixth man. I was starting, wasn't playing well, and then they kind of like we talked about it. Me and the coach talked about it, and you know, I didn't really want to do it, but you know, it was something that I started doing, and I actually began to like it. Like
Yeah,
being being able to sit on the bench, start the game, watching the game, seeing what was going on. Um, Diagnosing the game, what's happening, who am I guard? I know who I'm going to be guarding when I go in. I'm just watching him. I'm watching to see what he's doing, seeing what I need to do. Kind of just staying locked in while on the bench, but also just you know getting ready for that time. And it ended up being something that I enjoyed doing because it was still because you know I'm thinking like I'm not starting, I'm not getting all the minutes, but really when you think about it I'm getting coach. I'm getting the important minutes. Like
mm-hmm.
and like dude play like 3 or 4 minutes, he'd be out the game. He ain't never coming back in. So
Yeah.
like
He ain't coming back
uh,
in.
I'm getting the important minutes. You know, I really had to get over that, and that was just you know ego at the beginning. Like man, I should be starting. Like,
Yeah,
but you team started playing better. I started playing better, and it was like, all right, well, I guess I'm just gonna do this, man. And then you know,
yeah,
things throughout the season, I'm back in the starting lineup, but.
for sure.
That could have been a lot of that could have went a lot of different ways. I could have been mad about it. I could have quit the team. I could have been doing all this. I could have slacked off of what I was doing, but I stayed on course. I did what I had to do, and I ended up getting what I wanted to do. I was playing important minutes. I was in at the end of the game, which is the most important thing. So it ended up working out, but it was a tough adjustment for sure. Starting my whole life, that was my first time ever coming off the bench. So
Yeah.
except for if I had some discipline and stuff, like being late to practice or something like that. That happened a couple times, Coach J, but that's all good.
For you, bro, talking about the coach coming to you and kind of telling you that, now a lot of kids are, that'll be a tough adjustment. Like, man, coach on board, he don't want to play me. But like, when did you realize that you had to be like, you know what? Okay, cool. Coach knows what's best for the team, and this can help the team succeed going down the line. I'm fine with it. When was that moment for you when you kind of realized like, okay, he ain't just pulling me for nothing. You know what I mean? Or he may not just be pulling me because he think I'm not good, but he felt like it was a better adjustment for the team. When did that really click for you? And you was like, man, F that, Because some kids will be like, man, I don't want him. He ain't fool with me. He on board. He ain't no like,
Yeah, it ain't gonna lie, it didn't click right away.
yeah. It took you a minute, huh?
Took a little minute, but
Okay.
I mean, it probably. I mean, that week of practice sucked. I was like, man, I ain't on the first team no more. This is crazy. But like when the game started and I saw like 16 minutes, like I'm going in. It was like that every game. It was like I didn't even have to. He didn't even tell me when to go in. He was like 16-minute mark. You going in? I'm like, all right, cool. Like that's what's up. So it was
Yeah.
like it was
Mm.
it was it was cool. I ended up and coming off the bench, I'm like, man, I've seen players come off the bench and be effective, and it's like I understood the game a little bit more. Like if that would have happened in high school, probably it wouldn't have gone the same way. Like I had grown up, I knew the game a little bit. I'm like coming off the bench, he might just need some scoring coming off the bench. Like we don't have any scores coming off the bench. I come in the game and get the energy level up because that was something that I brought to the team. I brought a lot of energy for sure. So coming off the bench, I was an energy guy, but at the end of the day, I was an energy guy. But usually, when you got an energy guy, he's not scoring points too. I could do that
Mm-hmm.
too. So I
Yeah.
was do things that people on the bench really excel at. So um, I was able to supply scoring from the bench and also get the team's energy up and do things like that. So it didn't take that long. Just took maybe a game or two after I saw like what the rotation was like. I might have even been playing more minutes
Yeah.
than I was starting. So it all worked out, but it was definitely something to get adjust to.
Okay. For you, knowing what you know now, planning on having your whole basketball career, knowing what you know now, if you can talk to your 16-year-old self right now, what would be some advice that you would give your 16-year-old self now, knowing what you know now?
Get in the fucking gym.
Plain and simple.
Get in the
Plain and
gym.
simple.
I didn't do
For
that. I did that maybe one summer like I was supposed to, and it was going into my sophomore year. It was Coach Wyatt. Coach Wyatt got me in that gym, got me in the weight room. It was me. It was um, Justin hadn't come back yet because he was still in Springfield because it was that summer. So I was in there with Tyrone. I was in there with Terry because I think Terry was getting ready to go to college. He was getting ready to leave for school. It was getting ready to be Tyrone's senior year. I think Fuji might have been in there a couple times. It was like 4 or 5 of us in there, and Coach Wyatt really kind of took her, put his arm around and kind of wanted to get us right that summer. And I really knowing what I know about East Aurora and the history about it. I'm like, man, Coach Wyatt want me to go to the gym. I'm going to the gym. Like
hmm Gotta
that's
be there.
Coach Wyatt, man. I done seen him. I done heard all the stories. I see him all over the wall. I see him everywhere at East. Like really playing for him that sophomore year was like, man, knowing the history of East Aurora was just like, Coach Wyatt is our coach. Like, yeah, he's
Yeah.
a legend, bro. He is a legend around here. So
Like,
anything he said, I'm like, yeah, yep, I'm gonna do that. Let's go. And it really paid off. And it was like, um, I don't know what it was, but it was just like it wasn't something that I stayed on. It was, I would get some shots up here and there, but it wasn't like I wasn't staying after getting that hard work in, doing them training sessions like in the summertime and things like that. Like, 'cause I remember I remember my dad got me with Mr. Bowright in the summer one time, and I worked out him
Woo! Bless your heart.
like 2 or 3 times, and I was just like, man, I don't want to do this no more, bro.
Yeah.
Like, like looking back at it, it's like I really didn't want it. Like that could have been me getting trained by Mr. Bowright. I could have went to where I wanted to go probably, but my
Yeah.
mindset wasn't right. I wasn't, I saw that work. It was cool, but I was like, nah, I don't know if I don't want to keep doing this, bro. So it
He
is
said, I
what
don't
it is.
know if I want to keep doing that.
Bro. So
Okay. But for you though, I know you talk about, what you just talked about, with really getting into the gym, training your body, getting into shape. What has the game of basketball really taught you about, that carry into life?
one thing I say is like you get back what you put in. Um, if you don't put the game in, if you don't put the time in, basketball is not gonna be good to you. It's not gonna be nice to you. I mean, it'll be all right. Like, yeah, I had a good high school career, it was a good college career, but I didn't go to where I thought I should have been at. So, um, it's really taught me put the work in, and because I've seen people that put the work in and they end up going to where they want to go. So,
Yeah.
same thing in life. You put the work in at whatever your craft is, you're gonna be better at it. Just putting that time in is very important. You're not just getting. You're never just gonna get to where you want to go without the process of putting in
Facts.
work, doing something along the way. No one's just giving. No one is just giving that. So
Yeah.
you just got to put the work in for sure. Same
Okay.
thing. Anything you want to do, just got to
Yeah,
gotta practice. You have to.
for sure. I see now, bro, you kind of transition into, ball stop bouncing for you. You kind of transition into coaching and being a trainer. What led to the choice of, staying around the game of basketball and give it back to you, giving the youth, the knowledge that you've learned over your time?
The main thing was just trying to find something to be competitive. I'm really competitive. I love to compete, and so just teaching that to others is like fun for me. It's enjoyable, especially when my teams like take my personality as like competing all the time, and like that's really what I get a joy out of, just seeing like having some of the worst teams but coaching them up in order for them to like toward the end of the season they saying, they clapping their hands, they saying let's go, like things like that, just getting
Having
those,
fun.
having fun, getting those things to rub off on my players, and really just trying to teach the kids like you got to be a student of the game. Like that's something that I wasn't when I was growing up. I just had fun playing it. I watched it. I didn't watch it the right way though. Like what I tell the kids now is like, don't watch the dunks, don't watch the threes. I didn't watch what happened before that. Like how did he come
Hmm.
off the screen? Like what was his footwork coming around that screen? How did he get to the lane? Why was he able to get the dunk? Like
Yeah.
making reads. That's what the game is, and that's really I wasn't thinking about that when I was playing. I was just going out there playing. And knowing what I know now, it would have been a different story if I was playing again. Like I would know a lot of these things that I've learned. And I don't even think I learned these things as I was playing. It was really after I was done and I was able to just watch the game and really that's really when I started watching it the right way and being really a student of the game was after I was done playing, so I could give that knowledge to others.
For you, what has been the biggest adjustment? Having training kids, you have different skill levels. You know what I mean? How do you keep it to where you try to keep it at an even level? You know what I mean? Like, okay, you like this and this in this way, or how you speak to the kids. What has been some of the game that you had to learn to be like, okay, cool, I got to do this with this person and do this with that person, like
Yeah,
to
I,
manage it.
that's like that's a skill. Just knowing your players, knowing who you're training. You got to know how to coach them. Like there's players that I like on the team. There's players that I'll yell at. There's players that I don't yell at because I know who can take it. Like if you know a player can't take it, why would you do it?
Yeah,
Like, you want to run them off. Like you want them to be on the team. You got to learn how to coach them. It's not always about the player needs to learn how to be coached by me. You're both learning. You're learning how to coach your players. Your players are learning how to play for you. It's not
yeah,
a one. It shouldn't be a one-way street. They got to learn how I coach. No, you got to adjust. You got to adjust and adapt like anything else. Um, so I would
anything with
think,
life.
That's really the thing that I've learned how to do. I think it's something that I knew how to do already, but it's like um, seeing different players, seeing how different players tick, what makes different players play harder, just knowing what buttons to push. That's a skill of a coach. That's your job as a coach. You got to know, oh, I can't get at him like how I get at him, because if I do that to him, he's gonna be done for the rest of the game. He ain't gonna be able to play. But if I get
Yeah,
on him, he's probably gonna he he plays better when I do that, like, or something like that. Like, you can't coach everyone the same way. You got to be fair, but that doesn't mean you're gonna coach them the same way. Like, the main thing is, like, for players, like the star players, the people that are scoring all the points, the people that are doing the most things, that are doing everything for the team, they get a longer leash than if that's you. So, like, what I'm saying, like, there might be a player 7, 6, 7, not even 6 man, like seventh, eighth player on the bench. He do one thing, he get taken out the game, and he's looking at it like, well, he just did that. I'm like, well, he's like, he does that. He does
yeah,
this.
yeah,
You don't do that. You don't get that. You can't do that. Come in the
yeah,
game and turn the ball over, bro. Like, you're not afforded the same opportunities as all the players don't have the same opportunities. He can mess up 5 times and I might not take him out. But
yeah,
you come once and you fuck up, you coming out.
yeah.
That's just the game. That's the game, man. It's like, players got to know, like,
That's just a harsh reality with hooping, man.
yeah, basketball, you're not gonna be able to make this. There can't come in and shoot the same shot as Steph Curry and miss and expect to stay in the game. Like, you're not. That's your game, bro. You don't do that. Like, so that's where you
Yeah,
got mentality that you got to have as a player. You got to be really coachable. And something that I think I was, like, my whole career. I was really coachable. You can tell me, like, if you yelling at me, but if you saying something that's right, I'm gonna listen. But if you coming at me
yeah,
crazy and I don't agree with it, then, like, we gonna have some issues. Like,
yeah.
um,
Okay.
so it's like, you just gotta know your team. You gotta know your players. That's your job as a coach. That's what you signed up for. I mean, at least that's how I look at it. Like, I'm adjusting as we go. I'm adjusting through the whole season. I'm not coaching the same way all year. I'm
Yeah,
trying to I'm coaching y'all up so we can be good at the end. Like,
yeah.
I don't I
Facts.
don't care about the beginning of I mean, I care, but, like, we can lose all these games, bro. We can lose every game. But so if we ready in March, I'm good. Like,
I'm
we
cool.
improve.
Yeah,
That's what I'm coaching. I'm coaching you to improve throughout the season. I'm not coaching to win games 1 through 10. I don't really care about that, man. Like,
yeah.
you
The
can
fun
win.
of it.
He might be winning in a bad way. That's another thing. Like, these AAU teams and things like that. Yeah, you pressing the whole game, but your players ain't learning how to play basketball. Yeah, anybody can press and get a steal and make a layup. But when
Mm-hmm.
you go to the next level and the teams even out, like, you ain't gonna be able to press, get them steals in the layup. You're gonna have to learn how to play basketball. So,
Yeah.
um,
IQ
that's
got to be a lot higher. IQ. That's when everything
that
changed.
IQ. You ain't gonna be able to just play running gun, press the whole game, because you gonna run into a good team and you can't press them. Like, so
Mm-hmm. Don't get exposed. Yeah.
get it. And coaches end up getting their players exposed because they haven't learned the game. They just coaches getting the name off winning games, but who cares about this 13U game? Like, bro, like, teach them the game. We ain't coaching to
Yeah.
win. Coaching, I want him to go to college and play. I don't care about this 13U game.
Facts. Shaun, if you could have any matchup 1-on-1 in your prime, who would be that matchup you would want? Anybody.
Ray Anthony,
Anybody. Ray and why Ray?
because they say he the best shooter, so I'm like, I am. I'm the best.
He said, I'm the captain now. I need
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Okay.
I would say, I mean, just off of being a competitor, I would say, like, Ray. That's who I grew up hearing about all the time. When I got to East and I was making shots and all that, that's all I heard. Like, oh, man, Ray Anthony, Ray. I was like, all right, bro. Like, what's up? Ray, my guy though. Ray
For
is
sure.
my guy. Raymond is my guy. I watched him. Growing up, man. He was also he was just a great athlete. He was good at basketball, baseball, man. He was all conference probably in baseball and basketball. So,
Yeah. Okay.
um, so dang, I didn't mention him earlier. He up there too, right? So
He said, I didn't mention him earlier. Hey, That's all right, man. Somebody gonna always get left off, man. It's all good. For you, bro, if you could listen to 3 albums all time for the rest of your life, what three you rocking out with?
Hmm. I'm gonna go with Good Kid, Man City is on there. Um, what J album? What I gonna say? Probably the Black album. Um, oh, and my Twisted Dark Fantasy, something like that. Kanye West album. That's
Kanye?
like
Yeah.
one of my favorite albums for sure.
Okay. If you could have 5 dinner guests, dead or
Twisted.
alive. Yeah, yeah, that with the like red cover,
Hmm.
right? It's a red cover, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I
But
remember,
yeah,
like, yep. Don't remember he was doing something. I forgot where he was going, bro. That album that just came out. I put that album in. Whatever he was doing, man. I remember just listening to that whole album while I was in the car, bro. I just remember listening to that whole. I think he was. I don't remember what the hell he was doing. We rode somewhere, and I remember listening to that from start to finish. I was like, classic, bro.
man. But yeah, if you could have 5 dinner guests,
Five
dead or alive,
yes.
anybody, who you chopping it up with?
Uh, I'm gonna say Muhammad Ali for sure. One of my favorite athletes. Um, my Grandma Washington. That's one of my favorite people ever for sure. Grandma Washington, gotta give it up for Grandma. Muhammad Ali. I'm gonna say LeBron James. Um, it's more about basketball. I just want to ask. I just want to pick his brain, like business basketball. He's just done a lot of different things that people don't even be realizing. They just be hating on him. Like I used to hate on him as a basketball player for sure, but like
You know, Rock
looking at it
LeBron.
as a man growing up, like he's done for the community, bro. He's done so much for our people, man. Um, he's definitely somebody that I would want to talk to. Muhammad Ali, LeBron James, my grandma, um, Jay-Z, and let me get a woman up here. Let me get a woman. I'll go with mm, Michelle Obama. Both the
Not
Obamas
mad
can
at
come
that.
for sure,
Both of them. Okay. I ain't mad at
but
that. I
Michelle.
ain't mad at that. Okay, but if I said Shaun, bro, I can give you courtside tickets to any game in NBA history. What game would you want tickets to, and why?
Any game. Hmm. Any game all time. I'm gonna say that. That's, that's a tough one. Man. Uh, who was just saying? So I heard that one.
Skip said he want to go watch Shawn Michaels for the Bret Hart WrestleMania.
Hey, hey, bro, don't bring
He
that
said,
up,
"Who is?" I
Mike.
heard that part.
Bro, we used to be beg. We used to beg Vanessa to order them WWF pay per views, bro. Man, dude, that's bro. Let me see. Matter of fact, I'm not even gonna say basketball. It's not even gonna be basketball. I wish I was at the Michigan Ohio State game 3 years ago when we broke the streak on the go blue.
Hey, he said, "Forget basketball. I'm going football."
Bro, I love Michigan, bro. I love them, bro. I don't even know why I love them so much, but
He said, I don't even know why I love him. I just love
Charles Woodson, Charles Woodson did it for me. But if I'm gonna go basketball, I'll go
him.
definitely with Jordan hitting the shot in Utah for sure.
Okay. Okay. Why that game though, in particular?
Because it was just the legend behind it. Like that was supposed to be his last shot in Utah. Yeah, just how it happened. He scored what the last five. He hit the three. Did he hit a three? I think he hit a three, and then came down, got the steal, and then came down and gamed him. So that was like an epic 30 seconds right there.
Facts. The GOAT. Now, if I was to say I need your top five NBA players of all time, who your top five?
Mike, LeBron, Kobe, Kareem, and Magic.
Ooh, okay.
Steph
Okay.
is
Oh, Steph right there.
Steph is close. I don't care what nobody say.
Is
Steph
he your what? Your
might get
six,
Magic off
seven?
that. Yeah, he in the
But
top
this your
seven for
five
sure.
though. This your five though. You know, somebody gonna always be like, man, you ain't got this his five, man. This
I'm
his
gonna,
five that he think.
I'm gonna go with that. Magic in there. Yep, Magic, Kobe, Mike, LeBron. I might take Kareem off. I don't know, but he can be on there.
But
He's LeBron. Like Kareem got. I don't think enough people talk about Kareem, but I didn't see him. But bruh,
no,
like
for real.
he was the scoring leader.
No,
Like,
no, for sure. That's why I
I
kind of hate
don't
what
think
people say about Bill Russell. Like, bro, you got to go off resume, bro. He dominated his era. Like, what was he supposed to do?
he
You know what I
did.
mean? Like, I don't. That's why I don't get into that talk, man. Because everybody list is just different. You know what I'm saying? So,
So,
last one I got for you, bro. If you could recommend somebody to come on the D Will show, you know, to kind of tell their story, give them their flowers, they just spread light on a raw ball. You know, who would you recommend to have on here?
other than my brother, I'm always gonna say my brother. Yeah. Um, let's go with hmm, Ray
We're
Allen.
working on some. I wish I could tell y'all who I got coming on here, but we're working on some. I just want to see who you got in the chamber for me.
How about Ricky Dominguez?
It's definitely been a name that's been floating around a lot. A lot of people have brought that name up, man. We probably gonna have to make that one happen.
Yeah, Ricky, or maybe get somebody older guy. That would be cool. Learning about the '70s and the '80s, man.
Yeah,
Like the tradition of basketball in Aurora is just like there's a lot of history in Aurora. I don't think it gets enough. It's not talked about enough for sure. I mean, we right next to Chicago, so we kind of run into that, but
yeah.
Aurora, bro, like some
Me
great
and Cuz,
players. Fucking
no, for
JT.
real. Me and Cuz was just talking about that earlier, man. Like we the second biggest city in Illinois. Like why we don't get the light and the love
Hmm.
like we supposed to? You know what I mean? You ain't gotta be from Chicago, man. It's hoopers everywhere. You know what I mean? So that's what I turned my platform into. Like, man, let me spread light on hoopers, on hoop
Yeah.
overall. You know what I mean?
Or Andre Newsom and Derek Holyfield too. Them two. Them two. I give you
Okay.
four.
Okay, bet. But man, bro, I appreciate you tapping in. You know, we finally locked in. Like I said, I appreciate you taking time out. Like I said, I want to give you your flowers, man, for what you contributed to the game of ball and also what you contributed to Aurora ball. You know what I mean? So I just
So.
want to give you a flowers, man. You a legend, the shooter himself. You know, so my God,
Appreciate.
man, I appreciate you, bro.
I appreciate you. A
For
legend.
sure.
That sounds good, but I don't know about all that.
Man, you a legend, bro. You a legend, bro. You a legend, man.
I
All
appreciate
right,
you.
for sure,
So
man. I'll tap in with you, Brody.
appreciate you, man. Thanks for having me on. It's been
For
really
sure.
fun.
For sure. All love, man. I'll tap in with you.
For sure. Let's do it again.